welcome to class. For today, you don't need any props to enjoy your flow. We're just looking to find some space within the legs, a little bit of mobility within the spine, just a nice feel-good practice for today's class. So whenever you have your space, your mat, we're gonna go ahead and meet in downward facing dog right away. So take your time coming into this space, feeling your hands on the earth, tucking the toes, and nice and slow lifting up those hips. And as you come into your downward facing dog, see what needs a little bit of attention. Maybe adjusting your stance, adjusting your hands. Maybe walking those hands back a little bit closer toward you, shortening your stance so that your heels can drop, your hips can lift, feeling that length along the back of the legs. Or maybe keeping that nice long downward facing dog so you can pedal out the feet one at a time. Rocking the hips left and right. Exploring that length as you continue to lift those hips up towards the sky. Staying grounded through the heels of the hands, wrapping those biceps towards the ears, triceps towards the back of the mat, and pressing nice and slow, pressing that chest towards the ankles, towards the back of the mat. As you stay nice and engaged through the shoulder blades, using that pull of the energy while you press down into the mat to really find that strength through the arms. And another few more breaths here. Checking in with yourself up and down the chain. Slowly starting to settle into your space, into a shape that feels good. Strong, supported, lengthened, all the way from the arms, through the spine, to the hips, and through the back line of the legs. And from here, inhale, lift those heels up nice and high from the ground, coming up onto the toes, staying strong in the arms. And then on the exhale, drive those heels down towards the earth. Feel the back line of the legs lengthen. 2 more rounds. Inhale, lift those heels up nice and high. Then exhale, drive them down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Feel those heels come a little bit heavier down towards the earth. Now moving up the chain, working through the knees. Inhale, slowly lower those knees down toward the mat to a hover. Don't let them touch. And then exhale, straighten the knees back down or back into the space back behind you. 2 more rounds. Inhale, bend the knees to a hover. Exhale, straighten the legs, knees press back behind you. Inhale, lower. Exhale, straighten. And using that combination, that push of the back of the knees back behind you, the drive of the heels, the heaviness within the heels towards the earth. And then we're going to combine those 2 actions. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, bend the knees, gaze forward. Pause, and then round and ripple that energy forward as you lift the hips up towards the sky, round through the spine, finding a spinal wave to high plank at the top of the mat. Pause here. And then soft bend the knees, lift those hips up back towards the sky, downward facing dog. 2 more rounds. Inhale, heels lift. Exhale, bend the knees, gaze forward, pause. Round, ripple that energy forward, nice and slow, segmenting through the spine. Pause and high plank. Exhale, bend the knees, setting the hips up and back. 1 more round. Inhale, heels lift. Exhale, bend the knees, gaze forward. Round and ripple, high plank. Pausing here. And then exhale, count to 5, lowering all the way down for 5. 4, keep everything all in one line. 3, 2, 1, belly falls. Lift the chest, untuck the toes, low cobra. Keep those elbows hugging in, shoulder blades drive down and back. Exhale. Lower the chest. Sit back, child's pose. Finding 5 nice and easy breaths here. Whether that felt like a lot of activation within the shoulders, within the arms right away, maybe even into the legs. Take this opportunity to settle, to find length along the back body. Reaching those fingertips towards the top of the mat to lengthen through the sides of the body. 2 more breaths here. We're going to start to find some spinal waves from this space. So from your child's pose, you're grip into the earth, find that energetic sensation underneath the palms of the hands as you start to round through the spine, coming through cat pose. And then as you transition through cat pose, your hips start to fall heavy, the shoulders come up over top the wrists. You unravel the spine coming into a high cobra. Tops of the feet come down into the earth. Gentle press to the heels of the hands to find a lift. And then exhale, send the hips back in space, coming through cat or cow pose. As the hips come down towards the heels. At the end, the tailbone tucks under, hips to heels, child pose. 2 more rounds, inhale. Nice and slow, moving at a nice sluggish pace as you round through the back, coming through cat pose. Hips fall heavy, shoulders over wrists. Tops of the toes come onto the earth. High cobra. Exhale, coming through cow pose. Sit the hips back towards the heels. Big toes come back together to touch. 1 more round. Inhale, pull through. Unraveling all the way to the top of the mat. High cobra. And then exhale. Sitting the hips back, coming through cow. And settling into child's pose. 2 breaths here. And go ahead and pull yourself up into a tabletop position. Keeping the toes tucked or untucked, whatever feels good for you. Shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Finding a nice strong tabletop position, belly button in towards the spine. Taking 1 breath here, deep inhale. Exhale all the way out. 3 rounds cat-cow, inhale, belly falls, chest lifts or peels up towards the top of the mat. Exhale, rounding through cat. Tucking that tailbone underneath you at the very end. Inhale, lift. The sit bones towards the sky as the belly falls. Chest pulls towards the top mat. Driving your shoulder blades down. Exhale, round. 1 more round, inhale. Gaze lifts. Exhale, round. Hide the heart. Allow those shoulder blades to spread nice and wide as you open through the back body. Inhale, back to tabletop. Keeping a strong belly button in towards the spine. Tuck those toes. And we're going to press through the heels of the hand, through the toes. As you exhale, lift those knees to a hover. Nice and strong through the belly for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice and soft, lower. Deep inhale. Exhale, clear it all out. 1 more round, inhale to prepare. Then exhale, lift those knees to a hover, strong all the way through the arms. Shoulder blades engaged along the back body, holding here for 5, for 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the knees. Go ahead and keep those toes tucked, lift those hips up towards the sky, downward facing dog once more. 5 breaths here. creating space within your shape, returning back to those actions we were focusing on being in class, keeping those heels heavy, backs and the knees pressing back behind you, hips lift towards the sky. Engage through the arms. From here, 10 count journey, bringing the feet towards the hands, towards the wrists. When you're ready for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Finding that fold at the very end. Keeping a soft bend in the knees, keeping that lift of the hips up towards the sky. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine, engaging the back body. Exhale, fold. Inhale, deepen the bend in the knees, press through the soles of the feet as you ripple the spine all the way up to a stand. As you inhale, the arms up overhead. Reach those fingertips nice and long, making yourself tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. Maybe take this opportunity to soften the gaze, close the eyes. Three breaths. And the soles of the feet onto the earth, feeling that sense of grounding, that connection. Inhale, arms up overhead, sweeping a big orb around you as you reach those fingertips towards the sky. Exhale, hands come through heart center as you hinge at the hips, softly fold. Hands come down to the earth. Go ahead and wiggle those feet out nice and wide towards the edges of the mat. Toes stay facing forward, so those feet are parallel towards one another. Then go ahead and plant the hands onto the earth. Big step of the left foot back in space. Coming into a nice low lunge. Keeping that back knee lifted to start. And slowly start to rock forward and back. Coming up onto the big toe and then sitting that weight back into the heel. Maybe moving to the pattern of your breath as we have been thus far. Inhale, shifting forward. Exhale, shifting back. And go ahead and settle into your space. Find a nice deep settling into the hips as they draw heavy down towards the earth. Keeping that chest and heart nice and long, keeping that spine long. And then go ahead and inhale, drop that knee straight down. Exhale, drive that knee back behind you, lift it up towards the sky. Inhale, lower. Exhale, drive. With that drive of the knee, you're finding a subtle drive of the heel to really create a nice depth, nice space. One more inhale. Exhale, drive. And feel how with those weight shifts, with that lift and lower of the knee, how we're falling a little bit deeper into our space here, settling a little bit heavier. Keeping that subtle press through the heels and the hands away from the earth so that the chest stays lifted. Here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop that knee down onto the earth. Come up onto fingertips. And really use that push through the hands to find an even higher lift through the chest to the crown of the head. Lifting it through the hip points. Feel that length through the low belly. Go ahead and plant the hands. Keep it with the tuck of the back toes. Lift the back knee. Pause again. And then go ahead and bring the right foot back to meet the left, high plank. And then take yourself through your vinyasa, starting with your variation of a push-up. Drop the knee, sit the hips back.
Drop the forearms, inhale, pull through upward facing dog. Then exhale, downward facing dog.
One more breath, inhale. And exhale. 10 count journey, top of the mat. Step, hop, walk, float, handstand if that's in your practice for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, finding that fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, drive down through the soles of the feet, deepen the bend of the knees as you ripple all the way up towards standing, finishing that inhale. Sweep the arms up overhead, find that length through the body. Exhale, hands to heart center. Feel free to close your eyes. Recenter yourself before we transition to the other side. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Find height and length. Exhale, hands come through heart center as you slowly start to fold, hinging at the hips. Hands lift. Go ahead and wiggle those feet a little bit wider. Hands plant. Big step the right foot back in space. Staying up onto the hands. If you keep blocks nearby whenever you practice, you can always put those underneath your hands if that feels good. If that allows you to find a nice tall spine. And once you get here into this low lunge, start to shift your weight forward and back. Over the big toe and back into the heel. And every time you drive that heel back in space, feeling those hips come a little bit closer towards the earth. And the next exhale, and pause in that depth. Hold your space. And then go ahead on the inhale, slowly drop that knee straight down. So you're keeping that length in your shape here. So you're not upright in that half kneel that we've done in past classes. You're in a nice long, elongated space. On the exhale, drive the back of the knee, drive the heel, lift up into that low lunge. 2 more rounds. Inhale, drop the knee. Exhale, drive back. Lift that knee up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, drive up. And with that drive, feel that right hip point, or feel yourself lengthen from that right hip point all the way through toward the back of that heel. Here for 5, 4, keep driving that heel back. 3, 2, 1, drop that knee straight back down again. Come up onto fingertips. If you want a little bit more height, you can always come up onto that left thigh. From this space, find an even taller lift of the heart. Up and away from the low belly, feeling that space all the way through the center of your body. Hands plant. Lift the back knee, left foot comes back to meet the right, pause in your high plank. And from here, take your vinyasa, starting with your variation of a push-up. Drop the knees, sit the hips back in space. Drop the forearms, inhale, pull through, upward facing dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. 1 breath here. And exhale all the way out. And go ahead and start to walk the hands back towards the feet this time. Wiggle those feet out wide alongside the edges of the mat. This time allow your toes to turn out, heels are clicked in. And then go ahead and sit those hips down all the way into your Malasana squat, passive squat.
Adjust your stance as you need to make this space accessible. I guess I should have offered the use of blocks in this space, but again, if you have it nearby, if you'd like to add it on, again, it's not a requirement, but if that's something that you would like to add on, you can always sneak a block underneath your seat if you would like to make this a little bit more of a passive space as we transition to and from it. And so go ahead and allow your elbows to rest inside the edges of the knees, pressing the palms towards one another, using that connection, that energy to open up the hips. Create a little bit more space in your shape. Continuing to allow your body to settle in, the hips to hang heavy, driving those knees wide. And 2 more breaths here. And from here, go ahead and plant the hands. Allow those heels to come behind the toes as you start to straighten the legs. Lift the hips, coming into a forward fold. Inhale, heels click back in, sink those hips low. Lift the chest. We're going to transition to and from this space another 3 more rounds. Exhale, chest lowers, hips lift, heels come behind the toes. Toes turn out, heels click in. Inhale low. Exhale, fold. Make the adjustments you need through your transitions. Inhale lower. 1 more round. Exhale. Hips lift, chest lowers. Inhale, sit those hips low back into Malasana. Once you make your way back into your Malasana, feel free to shift your weight side to side. Opening and closing one knee at a time. And then find another forward fold. Heels behind the toes. And feel free to find your variation of fold here. Whether you bring the palms underneath the soles of the feet using your connection in this capacity to open through the back line of the legs, or if you just want to find some traction within the spine, a soft opening within those hamstrings, those calves, those hips, feel free to grab opposite elbow and come into a ragdoll for your next 5 breaths. Taking advantage of the opportunity to either find stillness or some soft movements, whatever your body is calling for, allow for it to happen. Continue to lift those hips up towards the sky as your chest falls heavy towards the earth. Knowing that you can keep a soft bend in the knees, they do not have to be completely straight here in this space. On your next breath, go ahead and release your hold, whatever capacity that was in. And then on your next inhale, soft press through the soles of the feet, deepen the bend in your knees as you slowly round and ripple all the way up to a stand. Pressing those hips forward as you open up through the chest. Finishing that inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead. Maybe even spreading those fingers wide, really opening up like that energy is flowing through your fingertips. And then exhale, bring it all in towards center. Then go ahead and slowly start to wiggle those feet about hip width distance apart. Hands at heart center, find 2 or 3 breaths here. Grounding down through that big toe, feeling the lift through those inner arches. So even in stillness, we're still engaged, mindful, and present. On your next inhale, go ahead and blink those eyes open if you allow them to close. As you sweep those arms up overhead, come up high onto those toes, lift those heels up as high as you can. And on the exhale, the hands are going to come through heart center. You're slowly going to bend your knees, like you're slowly finding your way down an elevator shaft. Keeping that spine nice and tall as your hips try to find those heels. Keeping the knees lifted, keeping those heels high. Pausing here in toes pose. Deep breath in. Full exhale out. Deep inhale. On your exhale, slowly start to drop those knees down towards the earth as symmetrically as able, and then scoop those hips up. Inhale, coming into a soft camel pose. Reach those fingertips up towards the sky. Exhale, collect everything in towards heart center as the hips come down towards the heels once more. Inhale, pluck those knees off the earth. Exhale, heels drops, close off your shape. A few more rounds of this same little transition. Inhale, come up onto the toes. Exhale, drop the knees. Inhale, scoop those hips forward as you sweep the arms down and up around you. Exhale, hands come through heart center as you pluck those knees off the earth. Challenge your balance, allow for the wiggle wobbles to happen. Exhale, drop the heels down towards the earth, close off your shape. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, drop those knees. Inhale, scoop those hip bones forward, really tuck that tailbone underneath you to feel the opening of the hips. Exhale, hands come through heart center, hips touch the heels. Inhale, lift those knees. Exhale, heels drop. Inhale, heels lift. Knees are to a hug. Last round here, drop those knees, exhale. Inhale, scoop that tailbone underneath you to press those hips forward. Reach those fingertips up tall. Exhale, gather everything in as you pluck those knees off the earth, coming up onto your toes, into toes pose. Exhale, drop the knees. Close off your shape. Inhale here in this space. And then exhale, shift the weight into the toes just enough to lift those hips away from the heels, from the lower leg, finding a forward fold. Few breaths here once more. Then you grab hold of the backs of the calves. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, use that connection to bring the chest toward the thighs. Crown of the head reaching towards the earth. Release that connection. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then go ahead and cross the ankles. Bring the seat to the earth. Walk those feet out in front of you. All in, finding our way onto our backs, nice and slow. And as you come into this space, feet flat to the earth, arms find a capital T or goal pose, and just allow the legs to windshield wiper back and forth. As one knee falls, the other knee drives down until you open up through the hips. Now the next breath or so, once you feel like you've evened out side to side, go ahead and come back through center. Scoop that tailbone underneath you, flatten the back to bring both those knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a good squeeze. Rock side to side. And then grab hold of the outer edges of the feet, come into happy baby. Spine stays long as you open through the hips, driving those thighs alongside the body. Shoulders down, away from the ears. Go ahead and bring everything back in towards you. Go ahead and give it a squeeze. Feet come back down towards the earth. Go ahead and cross the right ankle over top the left thigh. Open through that right hip, driving that right knee towards the top right corner of the mat. Then go ahead and bring that shape in towards you. Left knee in towards the chest, keeping that spine nice and grounded. Come back and towards your breath. Keep opening that right knee towards the top of the mat as you bring that left knee in towards your chest. Then go ahead and drop the left foot down towards the earth, keeping your shape, keeping that opening of the right knee. Allow everything to fall over towards the left. Keep a hold of that right ankle so you can maintain your shape as best you can. And keeping a nice pull of that right hip crease towards the top of the mat so you can stay lengthened within the right side of the body. And use your breath to settle in this space. If maybe there's a little bit more intensity, more tightness within the hips today. Trying not to close your body off into the shape, trying to remain as open and receptive in this space as you're able to be. And using your breath to help guide you there into that space. Inhale back towards center. Right foot comes down to meet the left, switching sides. Left ankle crosses over that right thigh. Take a moment to open up through that left knee. Drawing that left hip crease towards the top of the mat. And then go ahead and bring your shape in towards you. Grab hold just below that right knee. Keeping the back of the skull nice and grounded onto the earth. Allow you to find a nice neutral spine. Continue to open through that left knee as you bring the right thigh in towards the chest. Trying to open through your space, again, not allowing the intensity of this hip opener to close you off and to crowd your body. Using the breath, the connections that you're creating in this shape to find more depth, more length, where you've seemingly maximized that availability. Go ahead and drop that right foot back down towards the earth. Grab hold of that left ankle if that's helpful for you to keep your shape, and allow everything to fall over towards the right. Feeling that opening through the outer left hip. Maybe reaching that left arm up and overhead if that helps lengthen through the left side body. Chest stays facing towards the sky. And maybe with all that Continuing to reach that the outside edge of that left knee, the left hip crease, drawing that towards the top of the mat. See how that changes the intensity of the sensations within the hip. And breathe. Inhale, bring everything back towards center. Left foot comes back to meet the right, and then find those windshield wipers one more time. Make it soft, make it easy. And next breath or so, go ahead and find your center. Pause here, feet, knees, hips, everything all in line. Scoop that tailbone underneath you, flatten the back against the earth, and press through the soles of the feet as you lift the hips. A nice soft bridge pose here, just to open symmetrically through the front line of the body. Arms can be alongside your torso. If you want to clasp the hands underneath your low back, scoop the shoulder blades underneath you to find a little bit more of an opening that is available to you. Keeping that lift within the hips, the front opening for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you found that clasp, go ahead and let it go. Allow your body to segmentally all the way through the upper back. One segment at a time, lower all the way down. And extend the legs nice and long, even beyond the outer edges of the mat. Finding your Shavasana. Arms can come out nice and wide if you want to give yourself all that space, that room to just kind of maximize your opening, the energy around you, or if you'd like to stay inward, focus on the breath. Go ahead and rest one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. Either way, we're finding those nice and slow and steady inhales and exhales. As we release and let go of any tension that lingers throughout the body, knowing that we have concluded our efforts here in class today. Creating space and movement within our shape, within our being. Just allowing our body to settle. Coming back to our breath. And sending that breath into any nooks and crannies within the body that need it. Feel free to linger in this space for as long as your body needs. As always, thank you so much for practicing with me. I look forward to seeing y'all next time. If you do enjoy flowing with me, please feel free to like, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you again next time. Have an awesome rest of your day.